As a traditional publishing expert and professional book collaborator, I say no to 90% of the entrepreneurs, experts, and creators who approach me with a book idea. Today, I'm going to show you how you can defy those odds, land a six-figure book deal with a major publisher, and make all your author dreams come true. When I met my client, Natalie Nixon, she had already written 2 books, an academic book about design thinking and a book on creativity with a small but reputable publisher. And Natalie booked a call with me because she felt ready to get a real book deal with a household name publisher, preferably for 6 figures. All she needed was a little help on her book proposal. Or so she thought. On that call, Natalie showed up thinking she was ready. Her last book, The Creativity Leap, had sold thousands of copies. She felt so confident, in fact, that she had already created an annotated outline for her next book. So let's pause here for a second and imagine Natalie. Like you, she's an entrepreneur, an expert, or a creator who wants a book deal. She's booked a call. She's so excited, right? She's ready. She feels like she's ready. All she needs is a little bit of help to get over that finish line. But y'all, I hate to tell you this, but success in traditional publishing is rarely that easy. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while, or you've been following my work more generally, you might already know that I only work with people who are ready. I want what is best for you all, and I want you all to get the book deals you've been dreaming of. Or, if that's not right for you, to find out what is. So, on that call, I knew that in order for me to help Natalie land the book deal she wanted, she would have to grow. Her last book needed to sell more copies. Her speaking engagements needed to double, maybe even triple. And her ideas needed to get distilled down into sound bites. And ultimately, Natalie wasn't ready yet for a traditional book deal that she wanted with a household name publisher for over 6 figures. So I told her that. Because if you hop on a call with me, I'm going to be honest with you, whether you kind of like that result or not. But where that conversation went is really exciting, which is why I'm telling you about it. So on that initial call, I watched Natalie's face go from excitement to surprise to disbelief in about 5 seconds. But as I began to share why I thought what I did, Natalie started to understand what she was up against. My reasoning for her and literally every other entrepreneur, expert, or creator I chat with about book publishing, and y'all, this includes you, had absolutely nothing to do with her personally. I wasn't saying no or not yet because of her ideas, her content, or even how good or bad of a writer I thought she was. Instead, I had to say no because I knew that literary agents and traditional publishers would also say no because her ability to sell her next book seemed modest at the time. Now, watch my emphasis on seemed. Kind of doesn't matter if you could end up selling lots of books or not. It matters most what it seems like. Perception matters most. So, based on the sales of her last book, based on her current social media following, based on the number of speaking engagements she was doing back when we had that first call, she was not ready. She did not have a big enough audience to sell lots and lots of those books to make the investment from the publisher worth it. And like any other client I work with, Natalie needed way more than just a good book idea. And while her ideas had potential, she was lacking platform, which means that I had to say no to her on proposal. So that first conversation I've been referencing happened in June 2021. Natalie got a lot of clarity in that conversation because she understood the gap she needed to mind and what she needed to do to achieve her goal of landing a 6-figure deal with that household name Big 5 publisher. And ultimately, she succeeded because she understood an important point, which is also crucial for you to understand. In order for a traditional publisher to offer you a book deal, the whole team at the publisher needs to know how they're going to make their investment back. And investment's not limited to money. It's also their time and their opportunity cost. So what they're looking for is a proven way that you're going to sell your book. And that all comes back to you as the author because you're going to drive sales for that book. More specifically, your platform, your existing platform, your hopefully growing platform is going to sell copies of that book. And in Natalie's case, that simply didn't exist yet. But after that conversation, Natalie got to work. She became way more intentional on what she was sharing on social media platforms and started saying yes to every opportunity she was given to speak and test out her ideas. She used growing her platform as a way to test and refine the ideas she had for her book, which you can also do. And more importantly, Natalie noticed a shift in herself. As she told me, and this is her words, y'all, I really learned how to have patience in trusting the process. Through working with Megan, I was able to understand the publishing process and why the timeline wasn't really up to me. Thanks to the patience and trust I gained, I was able to get out of FOMO, fear of missing out, which was super helpful. I also realized that the most important thing was really believing in the dream that got me all fired up and that I had something important to say. I had to trust that other people would see it too. I honestly could not put that better, which is why I'm directly quoting Natalie here. And spoiler alert, other people did see the value in what she had to say. And because Natalie invested her own time, her own effort, and her own money in her business, in growing her audience, in developing her author platform, and ultimately in her own dreams, she became one of the top 50 keynote speakers worldwide. And in 2022, she got a yes from me to start working on her book proposal. A year after that, in 2023, Natalie landed her dream literary agent and later got a 6-figure book deal with a Big 5 publisher. Her book, Move, Think, Rest, came out in the fall of 2025. Now, what I want you to recognize is that traditional publishing isn't easy or fast, but stories like Natalie's prove that it is possible to get yourself ready for the book deal of your dreams, no matter how far away you are. You just need to do your homework first. And lucky for you, I've got the perfect assignment for you to start doing that. You can discover what is blocking your book deal right now by taking my free assessment. The link is in the show notes, or you can visit meganstevenson.com/quiz to get started. And until next time, cheers to your success.